Most people in the world admire cleverness. After all, who doesn't want to think quickly, have the perfect comeback, or always seem one step ahead of everyone? Clever people are often seen as intelligent, sometimes even more intelligent than they actually are. But what if cleverness is not the same as intelligence? What if the very thing we admire is also the reason we struggle so much in our relationships, our workplaces, and even in the systems we build as a society? Hi everyone, if you're new to this channel, my name is Megha, and this is a research channel where I explore questions about AI, human behavior, and the future of society through my original research frameworks. Now, before we dive into cleverness, I want to give you a quick context. This video is the first real-world application of the thinking model I've been building on this channel. My model proposes a new explanation of how emotional intelligence develops. At the heart of this model is one simple claim: that integrative thinking produces emotional intelligence. And this claim asks a simple but very powerful question: can the way we think determine how we feel and ultimately how we behave? Because most of the people in the world naturally separate thinking from emotion. Just in case you're interested in understanding the theory behind this thinking model, I'd encourage you to watch the last 6 videos. You'll get the context. In this video, we are going to see how this thinking model works in practice through one of the most admired and rewarded behaviors of our time, which is cleverness. And we are going to explore it through 3 questions using my 3P lens. First, how does cleverness limits the way we think, feel, and act? Second, if cleverness is so valuable, then why do some of the cleverest leaders still lose trust of their teams? And third, if cleverness is so rewarding for society, then why do we still struggle with problems like climate change, inequality, and mental health crisis? And what if there is a higher order intelligence that actually surpasses cleverness and could become the foundation of an ethical world? Let's dive right in. Let's start with cleverness at the level of how you think. The first thing that you need to know is that cleverness is based on your ability to respond quickly rather than understand deeply. Think of a clever person in a conversation. Before you even finish your sentence, they assume they already know what you mean. So they cut you off before you're finished, or they prepare a quick comeback. Basically, they are trying to win the moment. It looks like intelligence, but in reality, they are reacting from a narrow interpretation of the situation. And when your thinking becomes this fast and narrow, you miss the context, you miss the nuances, and you miss what the other person is actually trying to say. Now see what happens inside your mind. Because once your thinking collapses into that one quick interpretation, it immediately affects how you feel. Cleverness creates a pressure to always be sharp, always be quick, and always be right. Instead of listening to understand, you're listening just enough to prepare your next response. Instead of trying to understand, you're constantly defending your position. Now, this in turn creates more reactive emotions within you, like irritation, defensiveness, ego, and impatience. Now, at this point, you're not really reacting to what the other person said. You're protecting your image of being the clever person in the room. And when your emotions become this reactive, they shape how you act. Because this is where cleverness starts showing up in your day to day behavior. You'll notice this especially in your relationships, where instead of trying to understand each other, people start trying to outsmart their own partner. Conversations turn into competitions. One person always wants to have the last word. And the goal is no longer to understand your partner, it's to prove that you are the smarter person in the room. These behaviors look very smart in the moment, but they damage relationships in the long term because people around you feel unheard, dismissed, and talked over. They feel that you're trying to win instead of trying to understand. And once trust breaks, cleverness cannot repair it because cleverness is built on winning the moment rather than understanding the person. So, practically speaking, cleverness limits how you think, feel, and act. Cleverness works well when the goal is finding a quick answer. But real life, especially relationships, whether professional or personal, demand much more than quick answers. We need emotional intelligence to understand people, context, and long term consequences of our decisions, words, and actions. And all of this begins with how we interpret a situation. Because the broader our interpretation becomes, the better we understand people, context, and consequences, and the wiser we behave. That broader interpretation is what I call integrative thinking. And this is exactly the sequence that my framework proposes. Cleverness by itself does not produce emotional intelligence because it rewards quick judgments over integrated understanding. And emotional intelligence begins when we move beyond quick judgments and start thinking from a broader, more integrated understanding. Now let's look at cleverness in professional settings. Because if cleverness is so valuable, then why do some of the cleverest leaders still lose trust of their teams and struggle to build long term influence? Because cleverness may get you a momentary win, but leadership is built on long term trust. A clever leader often looks impressive because they always seem to have an answer. But people do notice over time that these quick answers don't always mean that the person has an accurate understanding. When a leader jumps to conclusions, people feel misunderstood. When a leader always has a quick comeback, people feel dismissed. And when a leader tries to win every discussion, people stop speaking honestly. And you know what? We've seen this pattern in history too. Dhritarashtra surrounded himself with clever advisors like Shakuni, a person who was brilliant in winning arguments and gaining short term advantage, but could never see the long term consequences of it. And because Dhritarashtra relied on his cleverness instead of clarity, he lost the trust of his kingdom long before he lost the war. Trust does not break loudly. It breaks quietly through those small moments where people feel unheard. And once the trust breaks, cleverness cannot rebuild it. Cleverness is built for speed, not understanding. It helps you look smarter, but it doesn't help you lead people. That's why clever leaders eventually lose influence. Because cleverness does not produce the emotional intelligence that builds long term trust. Now let's look at cleverness at the societal level. Because this is where it damages the entire systems that hold our society together. Most of our institutions reward quick actions or even reactions over thoughtful understanding, especially in today's day and age, where we love quick comebacks, sharp arguments, witty one liners, and quick fixes to complex problems. But the moment a problem becomes extremely complex, cleverness is no longer enough. Most of the society's biggest challenges, like climate change, inequalities, and mental health crisis, cannot be solved with just fast thinking. They require us to integrate logic with emotion while staying aware of the long term consequences of our decisions. That integration is what I call emotional intelligence. And this is exactly what our ancient thinkers understood. Indian philosophy makes a clear distinction between what feels good in the moment and what is good in the long term, which is essentially prayer versus Shreya. Cleverness belongs to the prayer category. It gives us the satisfaction of winning the moment, but it doesn't create stability and wisdom. And it definitely does not create solutions that can stabilize society on a long term basis. This is especially visible in public service professions, where decisions affect millions of people over long periods of time. In those environments, cleverness can help you seem smart, but only integrative thinking can help you gain a deep understanding that makes decisions stable over time. And stability is more important in these services. That's why society keeps struggling with the same problems for decades. Because cleverness gives you confidence, but it does not give you the clarity and the depth of understanding to eradicate these problems completely. If we want an ethical and stable world, then cleverness cannot be the standard we reward. We need a higher order intelligence, one that integrates logic, emotion, and long term consequence. Emotional intelligence helps build stable and sustainable society. And emotional intelligence only emerges when your thinking becomes integrated rather than quick. At the practical level, I showed you how cleverness restricts how you think, feel, and act. At the profitable and purposeful level, I showed you the kind of influence it leaves on both our workplaces and the society we build together. But I want to clear something up. This doesn't mean that cleverness is inherently bad. It is valuable and genuinely useful in many situations where the goal is finding a quick answer. But the problem begins when we mistake quick answers for complete understanding. Without a broader way of thinking, cleverness can easily become trapped in ego, reactive emotions, and even manipulative behavior. That is why my framework proposes a higher order intelligence, which is emotional intelligence produced from integrative thinking. Integrative thinking expands our interpretation of a situation. That broader interpretation produces emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence guides wiser behavior. In other words, cleverness helps you answer quickly. Integrative thinking helps you understand deeply. And in the world that we are living right now, which faces these increasingly complex problems, I believe understanding will take us much further than simply being clever. With this, I've presented the first application of my framework based on my claim that integrative thinking produces emotional intelligence. Stay tuned for the next video because I will address one of the biggest fears of the AI age by applying my framework to that problem. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep building a better you.